This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV Profit in association with NSC.
If you look at the markets, really no signs of pickup that's coming in, and you don't get any sense that there is any sort of buying, any sort of selling that's happening in the market. Even stock-wise movement has been very minuscule since the start of the trading session. What essentially happened in the morning tend to happen, but after that the gainers and the losers have really not changed. It's very stock specific action, limited action, and don't forget it's the expiry this week, and whenever in an expiry week you tend to have calm sessions, they are followed, they generally tend to also follow from some sort of volatile sessions as well. Just at the bottom of your screen, you're getting some news flow coming in from PTI that JSPL has gone ahead and challenged the decision of deallocation of this mine in Delhi High Court. This is something that was expected. It is something that was expected after the sort of deallocation you saw from that. I don't think that markets would take a lot of cues from this particular sort of news that is coming in. Our next guest is a very interesting company. It's an unlisted e-commerce company, Urban Ladder. They are essentially into online furniture and home decor. They have over about 4,000 products in about 30-35 odd categories. The management now joins us. Rajiv Srivatsa, COO and co-founder at Urban Ladder, is with us from a Bangalore studio. Rajiv, if you could first start with telling us what does the company do, how old is the company, any sort of landmark that you've achieved in the last 2 to 3 years. Just define the company for us and what essentially Urban Ladder does.
Sure. Thanks, Pankaj. Good morning. We started 2.5 years back, based out of Bangalore. We are into online furniture. Our vision is to make millions of Indian homes beautiful. What we believe is in the last 20 years, India has been eating better. India has been dressing better. The outside of the Indian home has become better, but the inside of the Indian home is still, not as good as what our international counterparts have. Our vision is to change that completely. We've had a great start. It's been 2.5 years. We started with only 3 cities, and we started only with furniture. And today, if you're looking at the online industry, thanks to proliferation of overall e-commerce in India and the uptake of mobile and internet, e-commerce has just completely taken off. And that's certainly had its own effects on every single category, including ours, which is home decor. In the next year, we're looking at massive expansion across multiple cities. Today, we are in 8 cities. We hope to get that to 30. We are in around 25 product categories. We hope to get that to around 50. If you can literally think of someone who wants to get into their new house or is renovating their house, literally give us a key, and in 20 days that entire house will be absolutely beautiful, and with very little effort from their side. That's what we have set out to achieve, and that's what we are out to do.
Right. We've seen about how e-commerce has
if you look at the overall home decor business in India, out of the $500 or so billion retail pie annually, home decor constitutes around $30 billion. Out of which today, online itself is still a very small part of it, probably close to around $250 million out of the $30 billion pie. The entire sector is very unorganized, and that's where the promise also is, because a lot of people are sort of leapfrogging because there's a very high real estate cost for offline retail in this particular category, and literally zero. 2.5 years back, there was absolutely no one buying furniture or home decor online. To today, in 2.5 years, being a $250 million industry is really a fantastic uptake for that industry. And we see the growth to be anywhere close to 3 to 4 times year on year, and it becoming a multi-billion dollar industry on its own, just the online home decor industry in the next 3 to 5 years.
Right. How would you compare your prices with the traditional way of making furniture? Is it quite cheaper? Is it quite convenient as far as choosing the things are concerned, or choosing the color or the different decor that you want? How would you compare that with the traditional way of making furniture?
A couple of more hindsight points that we realized: furniture buying in India was always of a catalog. You used to do it with your carpenter, or you used to go to a physical shop where you would see something, but you would probably buy off the catalog. And what has happened in this industry, the great part is it has just completely shifted from offline to online. And that's probably why people have completely crossed that barrier of, oh, how can I buy something which is high touch, high feel, non-standard product without seeing it? People have just completely crossed that barrier in their own minds because probably furniture buying was always happening that way. And from what we can do online on this aspect is much better than what someone offline can ever do. Showing how that furniture fits into your own house, showing what goes best with the kind of furniture or kind of color that you choose. In terms of price points, we have a pretty significant advantage. While as a new brand, our marketing costs are slightly higher because we are trying to get into the space. But if you look at a big cost head for furniture offline, which is around 30 to 35% of the revenue, which is the physical retail store cost, that complete cost is not there for us. What also is there for furniture historically is people always had the cost of shipping the furniture from their warehouse to the customer's place, and that cost exists for us also. So there is no additional cost that we have put on the furniture for you from a consumer from buying. But while we have a lot of saving on the physical retail, that kind of saving is something that we can directly pass on to the customers. So for a similar product, which we deal with, be it the kind of quality on solid wood or fabric sofas or wardrobes, we are significantly cheaper than offline. And that is absolutely sweet for the Indian consumer who wants to furnish their home.
Right. One of the biggest challenges of furniture for the Indian consumer would be that you generally don't tend to buy furniture. So it's about once in 10 years or once in 12 years that one would be looking to buy a very, very big furniture. And looking in on the website and trying to fit it in their room or their drawing rooms may be slightly difficult. How do you overcome that challenge? You said that one can get an experience of trying to see various colors, trying to fit it in their own drawing room. How do you do that?
Okay. So let me answer the first point first. In terms of 10-year purchase life cycle, so what we're actually seeing in this sector is slightly different. What happens is when people move into their houses, because they're spending a lot of money for their own house, people only furnish the living room, the main wardrobes, the fit outs, and maybe the master bedroom at first. And what study. So it does actually, it is not once in a 10-year, it's more happens gradually over the next 3-5 years. What also Indians are seeing is there's an upward mobility. People cannot keep changing houses every 3 to 5 years. So they completely change the decor of the house. They change the curtains, they change the cushions, they change the bed sheets. So there's a lot of repeat buying in decor as a category. So that's another trend that we are seeing. In terms of how do I see the fit in the house, there are two ways in which we do that. One, for furniture on the website, what we do is we put a silhouette of a real life person standing next to the furniture. For example, you get a very good sense of the size of a particular furniture with respect to, let's say, a 5'8" person, right, a man or a woman, and how that person stands. That gave absolutely amazing ability for customers to visualize that furniture and how it sizes. For products which involve seating, where customers have to either sit on it, or for products which involve lying down, where there's a complete, people have to get a sense of whether it fits their particular length. What we, in addition to putting a silhouette next to the product, did was to put that silhouette of a person sitting on the sofa. So for example, we would say it's a 5'8" person weighing 80 kg, and if he or she sits on the sofa, this is how much the sofa depresses, or if they are lying down on the sofa, this is where their legs would be. These are things that people absolutely were bowled over in terms of getting a complete sense of the product. So that's one way in which we do. The second way in which we do is we use the mobile phone and the device itself to be able to give a fantastic sense of how the product fits. So we have an app called Living Spaces, where you can actually visualize your sofa in your own house. So look at it as seeing the Urban Ladder sofa on an iPad, but you're actually projecting the image of your own living room, and you're seeing our sofa inside your living room. What that gives is, because it is able to detect the size of an A4 paper, when you project it against the living room, it actually comes to life size. So it replaces the sofa that's there on your living room, and you can actually see how either a 3+2 or a 3+1+1 fit into your own living room. And that's just using the power of a device which everyone has, which is a mobile phone or a tablet, and a standard A4 size paper. Technology innovation in terms of augmented reality, in terms of using devices like Google Glasses or Oculus Rift, there's a ton of stuff that you can do to visualize the furniture inside the room. While some of these devices are still not mainstream, we believe that many of these devices using the mobile phone and cheaper versions of cardboard glasses is going to just revolutionize how you're going to be able to look at all of this inside your own house.
Right. Does this app differentiate you from some of the other online home decor players? Is it something which only uniquely is available on your side?
Absolutely. What we do is we have an app that is far better than some of the international home retailers, leave aside the Indian home retailers. The kind of experience we have 3 apps. One is to configure your own wardrobe. One is to see how the sofa that you want sits in your own living house. And one is the core catalog app where you buy the different stuff. And these 3 are all absolutely interlinked with each other. These kind of apps and this kind of experience, because we have designed the user experience from ground up, is absolutely not something that you see anywhere out there in the world, leave aside in India.
Right. My next question is about the habit. And habit of people, to buy such things has generally been in the traditional way. We've spoken to some of the e-commerce companies earlier as well. Some face problem of habit, but some like Book My Show are, essentially getting an overwhelming response. How are you seeing habit of people changing? Are you seeing a lot of repeat business coming in from first-time customers?
Okay. What is happening is multifold. One is e-commerce as an overall industry is growing thanks to the horizontals doing well, thanks to the media coverage, thanks to the funding that's coming. I think overall it's become literally like a mini revolution. So everyone is hopping in masse, and that's having certainly an impact on home as a category. 3 years back, people would say, who on earth is going to buy furniture online? And that's completely changed thanks to the entire e-commerce industry itself taking off. The second part on habit is what is happening is Indians overall are becoming absolutely well versed with international trends thanks to a lot of sitcoms, thanks to magazines, thanks to travel internationally. People are traveling internationally a lot more. So once they see and have access to some of these beautiful stuff abroad, they want to make their own homes very similar. Indians have always been spending on food and apparel, and there is a lot of disposable income in the economy. So if there is a next outlet in addition to your jewelry and your apparel, home is the obvious logical extension to where people will spend. So while we have seen some kind of we've had to put some effort in education very well for us to be able to take a big pie of that.
Right. Can you talk about the shareholding pattern at Urban Ladder? How have the investments come in? When have you raised funds? What is the total shareholding of different players, ex the promoters?
Okay. We don't divulge the shareholding pattern, but I can tell you the kind of funds we have raised. Just around the time we started, we raised $1 million from Kalari Capital. Kalari is an investor with some of the biggest e-commerce companies, including Snapdeal, Myntra, Zipme. The second round, we had Saif Partners, who also participated with Kalari and raised $5 million. Saif Partners is some of the biggest success stories in Indian IPOs, including Make My Trip and Just Dial. The third round saw Steadview Capital along with Kalari and Saif, and Steadview has backed Ola, Cabs and Flipkart, and we raised around $20 million. The fourth round, we're not divulging the exact details, is where Mr. Ratan Tata participated, and you can see that he's very active in the e-commerce industry in India with multiple other investments, and he follows our company even closer because he has a big passion for furniture, being an architect himself. And these are the 4 rounds of investments that we have raised till date.
Right. As of now, capital is quite sufficient. Do you need funding in the near term? Any talks, anything that you're looking to raise big time as far as funding is concerned?
Right now, there is nothing that we're sharing, but capital is sufficient. But given the macroeconomic situation right now, there is capital available, so we might choose to raise right now or later.
Right, Rajiv, thank you so much for joining us here this morning and detailing to us that how essentially e-commerce in online furniture as well as home decor works. Expect a lot of growth as far as home decor on online purchases is concerned. The view coming in from Urban Ladder, one of the players in the online furniture market. Let's